The movie opens with Val and Earl. They are two handymen living in a small, quiet desert town called Perfection. It is located in the remote Perfection Valley. They mostly do odd jobs like fixing fences for other people, helping farmers, and taking care of livestock on a freelance basis. They don't have much money and drive around in an old beat-up pickup truck. Even though they don't have fancy lives, they get along well with most of the people in town. Also, the bond between them is very strong, and they live like brothers. Perfection is a tiny place with only a few residents and buildings. It is surrounded by mountains and connected to the outside world by just one narrow county road. One day, when Val and Earl are driving their truck, they see Rhonda LeBecq, who is a college student studying earthquakes. At that time, she's out in the desert setting up sensors because she recently noticed something strange. Val and Earl reach out to her and ask if she needs any help. Rhonda tells them that there are unusual readings on her seismograph, even though there haven't been any actual earthquakes in the area. Val seems interested in her, but instead of asking her out, he just dreams about dating someone like a model. Just then, we see some random graph lines on seismographs that indicate potential danger. One day, Val and Earl come across a shocking sight. They find a villager named Edgar, who a local man is known for drinking. But this time, Edgar is sitting dead on top of a tall electrical tower with a rifle in his hands. At first, Val and Earl think that Edgar must be under the influence of alcohol, and that's why he is sitting on the tower. But when Val climbs up the tower and looks at him closely, he realizes that Edgar is dead and a lot of time has passed since his death. Later, the town doctor confirms that Edgar died of dehydration, which could be some days like 3 to 4 days of thirst. They wonder what scared him so badly that he chose to climb up there and die of thirst instead of facing it. They have literally no idea why Edgar stayed up there for so long. Later that day, Val and Earl meet another townmate, Miguel. He is a local rancher, who tells Val and Earl that a bunch of his cattle have gone missing without a trace. The situation of the town is beyond our boys' understanding. Around the same time, the town's doctor and his wife are living in a trailer while they build their new home nearby. One night, the doctor hears a strange noise outside. Along with the noise, the generator went inside the soil. The doctor steps out and sees what looks like steam or dust shooting up from the ground. Thinking it might be a natural gas pocket or a geyser, he goes to check it out. Suddenly, the ground beneath him collapses, and something pulls him down into the earth. He screams in pain as he disappears. His wife rushes over and desperately tries to dig him out. She gives him a wooden log to support him, but the force of the pull is so great that the wooden log breaks into 2 pieces. While she's digging, a creepy, snake-like creature pops out of the hole and hisses at her. The creature has already eaten the doctor, and now it wants his wife. So, the wife runs to their car for safety, but whatever attacked her husband isn't done yet. Though the wife has closed all the doors and windows of the car and the tentacles of the creature cannot break the glass, it grabs the car and slowly starts dragging it underground, with her still inside. In the end, the lights of the car continue flashing upwards, and the whole car is buried inside the soil. The pressure of the soil breaks the glass windows, and so the creature attacks the wife too and kills her. The next morning, we see that Val and Earl start getting tired of doing random small jobs for the people in Perfection. These jobs don't pay them good money. That's why they decide it's time to leave town and look for better work somewhere else if they want to get rich in their lives. Even though a local woman named Nancy offers them a good-paying job to build a new kiln for her ceramics, and even promises all the free beer they can drink. But they still choose to move on and reject the work offer. They pack up all their stuff and start driving towards the city. As they're heading out, they stop by old Fred's place to say goodbye. But when they get there, they find a horrible sight. All his animals are butchered badly. Everywhere is blood and blood. The whole flock is gone. Fred is nowhere to be found. The creature's creepy tentacles have attacked the farm animals and killed all of them one by one, along with their owner. After some time of searching, they find out that Fred has been killed. His body is buried in the soil, only his head is visible with a hat on it. By seeing the crime scene, it's clear something violent happened, and they start to worry that a killer might be loose in the area. They get shaken by this though, and they try to drive out of town, but soon discover that the only road out is blocked by a rock slide. Moments later, when they pass through this road, it was open, and some construction workers were doing their jobs there. But now it is blocked by the rock slide, and no construction worker is present there. They stop their truck and start yelling, thinking the road crew caused the landslide. But instead of finding the workers, they only see their hard hats lying on the ground, which are covered in blood. The construction workers are dead too. The same creature attacked them and killed them. Realizing something terrible has happened, Val and Earl jump back in the truck and try to leave quickly, but the car can't move ahead. Early says that Val has bumped the car into the sand dune, and now it is stuck, but Val is sure that he has not bumped into a sand dune. Luckily, after some acceleration, the car got free and went back towards the town. Once they reach the town, they notice something strange. A long, slimy tentacle of a creature that looks like a giant snake is wrapped tightly around the truck's back axle. It's clearly not something normal. Also now it is confirmed that the car was stuck in the sand, but this creature was holding it back at that time. They try to call for help, but all the phone lines in town are dead and there's no cell service in the area too. It means that they're completely cut off. All the people of town see this creature now and get scared of it. Later, they all gather together at the local shopkeeper's place and decide what to do next. In the end, they decided that some of them should go on horses toward the city to get some help, as the road for cars was blocked. Among all of them, the people who are good at horse riding are just Val and Earl. Walter Chang, the local shopkeeper who's always looking to make a quick buck, gives Val and Earl 2 horses so they can ride out and alert the county police. Meanwhile, Bert and Heather Gummer, a survivalist couple in town, have built themselves a fully stocked underground bunker filled with guns and supplies. Because of that, they aren't too worried about any danger. They have been preparing for the days of the war between the Soviet Union and the USA. Back at the shop, a teenage boy named Melvin makes fun of the situation of creatures and doesn't take it seriously. He jokes about it all the time and diverts the attention of all people towards himself. On the other hand, Val and Earl ride out quickly, but their horses get stopped when they come across one of the strange underground creatures. These creatures are huge worm-like monsters with snake-like tentacles. The horses panic, and Val and Earl are forced to run on foot. The creature attacks the horses first and kills them. It is the first time that Val and Earl are seeing these creatures live with their own eyes. They can't believe what they are seeing. Also, they are convinced that the creatures are underground. It starts chasing them, moving fast through the ground beneath. While trying to escape, Val and Earl jump over a concrete drainage ditch. The monster follows but crashes headfirst into the solid wall and dies. Right after the crash, Rhonda, the seismology student, shows up there and sees the dead creature with them. They remove the debris from the concrete and take a closer look at the dead creature. Here, they notice a few strange things. It smells terrible and is several meters long, and those snakes-like tentacles they saw earlier were actually tentacle-like tongues that come out of its mouth, which has a hard, beak-like shape. Rhonda studies her seismograph readings and realizes there are at least 3 more of these underground monsters in the area. It is these creatures that were causing the abnormal readings on her seismological machine reading. As Val, Earl, and Rhonda head back toward Perfection in Rhonda's car, another creature attacks them. They don't see the monster right away, but they notice a large cloud of dust being kicked up behind them as it moves under the soft desert soil. From that moment on, they learn that whenever they do some movement on the ground or produce vibrations, the creatures sense the movements and vibrations and give them a chase. Val, Earl, and Rhonda end up fighting for their lives and eventually get trapped on top of a group of large rocks. The creatures can't climb up the rocks, so the 3 of them are safe for the moment. But they realize the monsters are very patient too and can wait a long time. Even after hours, the monsters are still there for their prey, so our team is stuck now on the rocks. They even spend the whole night there and sleep there too. The next morning, they realize how Edgar died of dehydration on top of the tower. If they continue to stay at that rock, the result will be the same for them too. After a while, Rhonda comes up with a clever idea to escape. She suggests they move from one rock to another without touching the ground and make a run for the van. The creatures hunt by sensing vibrations in the ground, so any movement, footsteps, or even talking lets they know where their prey is. By staying quiet and moving carefully using the large bamboo, they manage to reach the van just in time, with the monsters chasing close behind. After they get back to Walter Chang's store, he excitedly comes up with a name for the monsters. He calls them graboids. Melvin keeps acting like nothing's wrong and continues to make fun of Val and Earl, even though things are getting more serious. While everyone is inside the shop, a kid, Mindy, is bouncing on her pogo stick with headphones around her ears. So she doesn't know that a graboid is coming due to the vibration she is producing with her pogo stick. Val risks his life to save young Mindy. She doesn't hear her mom, Nancy, yelling at her to stop. A graboid is nearby, drawn to the vibrations, but Val manages to pull her to safety just in time. The townspeople think they're safe by climbing onto the rooftops of nearby buildings, but the graboids start attacking the wooden structures from underground, shaking and damaging the weak foundations. The buildings aren't strong as they're just made of old wooden planks. Suddenly, one of the graboids bursts up from underneath Walter Chang's shop floor and grabs him, killing him before anyone can help. Another graboid kills a man named Nestor. Meanwhile, our survival couple comes back home from somewhere in their Jeep. The vibrations are sensed by the graboids, and they quickly go towards them. Val and Earl call the couple and tell them about the creature. Meanwhile, one of the creatures even manages to get inside Bert and Heather's underground bunker. But Bert and Heather fight back using all their weapons. They have a lot of ammunition in their bunker, which they have accumulated during the war days. Using these weapons, they finally kill the monster. On the other hand, the survivors group then find a bulldozer and try to escape by driving it out of the valley. They also go to meet up with the Gummers, who have built different kinds of weapons and are ready to help. However, the Graboids are smart creatures. They set a trap for the group that was at the bulldozer at the time. Also, unfortunately, their trap works too. The bulldozer falls into the pit created by the Graboids. So all the survivors have to leave the bulldozer quickly. Soon, the people realized they had to get to the safety of the big rocks as fast as they could. Surrounded by the Graboids, they wait on the rocks, but they know they need a new plan to survive. If they stay on the rocks for a long time, they will die of thirst and hunger. So they start throwing explosives at the Graboids. Even though these monsters can eat almost anything, they are very scared of loud noises because it hurts them. One of the Graboids swallows the dynamite, and it explodes inside, killing the creature. It produces a lot of the cut parts of Graboids all around. Then, our team try the same trick on the second Graboid, but this time it spits the explosives back out. Because of this, the group has to leave their safe spot on the rocks. Also, the explosive explodes all other dynamites too. After some time, Val is out in the open, away from the others, and he knows the last Graboid will likely find him soon. He tries to run away, but the Graboid is much faster than him and is closing in. Val is running towards the cliff. He steps back just as he's about to jump off a high cliff. The Graboid, still distracted from the earlier explosion, can't stop in time and falls over the edge, crashing down into the empty valley below. The Graboid could not survive the fall and died on the spot. The following day, life comes back to normal. The danger has passed, and Earl convinces Val to ask Rhonda out on a date. Rhonda is a smart student at a good school, with a bright future ahead of her. Val feels like he doesn't have much going for him, but Earl tells him that it's up to Rhonda to decide what happens next. When Val talks to her, Rhonda kisses Val back and accepts his proposal. The duo has become famous around the country. Their pictures are posted in the newspapers, and they become the signs of bravery. The scene ends with a hint that the danger isn't over. A patch of loose dirt moves on the dry valley floor, showing that at least one more deadly creature is still alive underground. Years later, a utility worker is moving through an open area by crawling through pipes. Then he tries a plan where he jumps from barrel to barrel, but it doesn't go smoothly. He falls hard and takes a big hit right away. Then, the story goes back to Perfection Valley, where Earl is still stuck in town. He is busy trying to herd ostriches. A visitor shows up there to meet him. He is a man from a Mexican oil company who wants Earl's help dealing with their own Graboid problems. Earl is famous throughout the country due to his courage while killing Graboids earlier. Just by hearing the name of Graboids, Earl says no right away. Even when he's offered $50,000 for each Graboid they catch, he knows money doesn't matter if he ends up dead. Plus, all his money is tied up in the ostrich business, and he's worried about who will take care of them if he leaves. But Grady, the man from the oil company, is a smooth talker. He knows exactly how to push Earl's buttons, reminding him of his lost fame and fortune, and promising a chance to make a comeback. In the end, Earl agrees to go with him after hearing some convincing points from him. Soon, they arrive in Mexico. After checking that everything was ready, they met the company's geologist, Kate Riley. Earl doesn't talk much with her at first as he mostly focuses on studying the maps. The oil company has made everything ready for the hunt of Graboids. There are many weapons and ammunition there for this purpose. Oil companies have lost some of their workers at the hands of these Graboids, and they have also suffered losses in terms of money. That's why they want to get rid of this problem as soon as possible. Grady also shows that this time, they're better prepared, bringing portable seismographs to track the Graboids. At night, he shows that he has made a DIY chain with attached empty tin cans to bring the attention of Graboids towards themselves by using the vibrations and noise of these chains. The next morning, after a quick breakfast, they head out into the valley in their car to try and lure the monsters out. They use a method that Earl came up with and start making easy money. They first use those chains to lure the monsters and then use control cars with dynamite on them to get the explosives to reach the right place. When the monster eats the remote-controlled car, the dynamite also goes into its mouth, and once it is inside, Earl detonates the explosive, causing the scattering of Graboid pieces all around them in the air. Earl is an experienced man, so he knows when to use the umbrella to save him from the remains of the Graboid, but Grady gets all the fecal material of the Graboid on himself. When they are trying to destroy one more Graboid, it engulfs their chain and starts pulling their vehicle attached to it. It makes them take rounds around the cliff, but luckily, they don't throw them off the cliff. But Graboids are not merciful creatures. It makes our duo hit the rock, which makes their car malfunction. Now, the duo also can't leave the rock because a Graboid is waiting for them on the ground. Soon, Earl notices on the seismograph that more Graboids are coming from all around, as it is their plan to trap them on this rock. Seeing this, Earl realizes that things have gotten more serious and decides to call for help. He reaches out to Bert, who's going through a tough time nowadays as Heather is gone due to Bert's overprotective nature about the war situation. That's why he feels lost. So Earl gives him a new purpose. The following day, Bert shows up with a big military truck full of supplies from the Mexican army. Earl and Grady give a quick look at the gear, which is astonishing for them because it is updated than their own ammunition. At this time, they are also told by the oil company owner that if they catch one of the graboids alive, then the payment would be double for that feat. Later, they're back out in the valley to hunt the graboid. Bert covers one side, recording everything like a log for the future, but from the ground, while Earl and Grady cover the other side. After some time, Earl and Grady notice something strange on their side of the valley. One of the creatures is moving away from them, which isn't normal. Earl is careful because these monsters are smart. Still, they give chase to this creature, which just roars and knocks them into a ditch. The car is hit by a rock and they have to get out of it to see what the problem is with this graboid. They get close and see that the creatures are too slow and tired to eat them, which seems almost very rare. But it's an opportunity for them to earn $100,000, as they can now catch this alive graboid who is already very weak and doesn't have any power to attack. So, they call a soldier named Pedro with a crane truck to help catch a live graboid and double their reward. But when they check on the creature later, it sounds like it's in trouble. When they get there, they find it's been badly injured, like a whale stuck on the beach. Earl remembers something from biology class and thinks it might be going through a metamorphosis. Right after, a similar roar echoes across the valley. When Earl and Grady go in the direction of this roar, they find Pedro's truck. The truck is damaged, and Pedro is missing. When they see the back of the truck, the cut arms of Pedro are still there, holding the truck while the other body is eaten by a graboid. Our duo gets scared by this. So Earl and Grady get ready and go on foot, carrying the seismograph for safety. Their own vehicle is damaged too, so they have to reach a nearby radio station to call for help. They head to the radio repeater station to figure out why their radios aren't working and find a pretty clear reason. The whole station is damaged badly. Everything is destroyed there. While looking for another way to get around, they come across a new kind of graboid. They are not underground, unlike the previous ones. Also, they are walking on their legs instead of crawling on the ground. The sensory organs above their heads quickly sense Earl and Grady there and head toward them. However, as the size of these creatures is small, Earl and Grady managed to take it down easily using their guns. But soon, they heard more of them coming, so they ran back to the office. At the office, Kate is having a normal conversation with a man through a window, but then suddenly, the man is attacked by a graboid from beneath the earth. Kate tries to save him, but fails. A few moments later, Earl and Grady come there and try to calm Kate down, who is scared of these creatures. Soon after, Bert arrives too, having had his own close call with the new smaller graboids. He tells them that he caught a live graboid, and it is in the truck. Bert has used all his ammunition while catching this graboid, but he is happy because the prize money for a living is huge. They bring the graboid into the office but are too distracted to notice another one fall off the truck and start eating some stored food packets. After some tests, they find out that the creatures sense heat through infrared and runs towards human by sensing their heat. That's why they destroyed the engines in the radio towers earlier. Even though they're pretty smart, after eating a small meal, the graboid throws up an egg sac. Seeing this, Kate deduces that these creatures are hermaphrodites who don't need sexual activity for reproduction. The more they eat, the more they will reproduce. Before they can even react, they are attacked by the graboid, who came inside secretly by attaching to the truck. So, our team ran away and came up with new ways to sneak past the graboids without being noticed. They use the wooden doors to shield their heat from being noticed by the graboids. They are trying to reach the car to get away from the place as there are many terrestrial graboids around now, so they will come back with help. But they find a lone graboid on the way of their route towards the car. Bert uses the tools he has left behind and manages to get a straight hit on this graboid. The hit is so hard that it splits the graboid into many small pieces, but it doesn't stop here. It crosses a concrete wall behind the graboid, then passes by the metal drum behind the wall, and in the end, damages the radiator of the car too. So now there is no chance to flee from that place. Soon the more graboids senses their position and run toward them, so our team hides at places they could find in hurry. Bert gets stuck in a bulldozer bucket while the others climb up high to wait. As usual, they wait until the graboids start their noisy attack. They get smarter day by day. They start climbing on the back of one another to make a ladder of graboids to reach the height. Bert sees this from the bucket of the bulldozer and decides to help his friends. He creates a distraction by leading the creatures into a warehouse and locking them inside. But the problem is, it's the snack supply warehouse. The more food graboids will eat, the more they replicate. so this could get out of control fast if they don't act soon. Earl comes up with an idea to cool Bert down so they can get in and use Bert's remaining bombs from his truck to destroy these graboids. He gets a CO two-cylinder first and asks his friends to throw it on himself. It will freeze him, and his heat will not be sensed by the graboids in this way. Luckily, the idea works, and graboids really are unable to see Earl. He goes inside and finds the graboids going crazy over the food. As he is covered by the ice, he stays hidden. When he gets to the truck and takes out the detonation bombs, his heat starts to show in their vision as he has started melting snow. So, he sets a short timer on the bomb, and he pulls himself out with a fire hose just in time. The whole building explodes with all the graboids inside it. Every time, the remains of the graboids are tossed into the air and fall all around on the ground. After the explosion, they follow Bert's plan to deal with the rest. They're happy to be alive, but wonder who's going to pay them after they've burned the refinery down to a smoking ruin in order to kill the graboids. Don't know about the money, but their feat will definitely make them popular in the country, as it did years ago.